So today we are talking about the Pluto Cazimi. So today is the last day of the Pluto Cazimi, and what it essentially means is that Pluto is in the heart of the sun, and very much the energy of rebirth, very much the energy of letting go of the versions of yourself that really are in the past chapter. And when we say that we are going into a new chapter, we kind of feel that very intuitively. We feel as though, yes, we are in this brand new energy, this brand new cycle, and we can see it. We can see the light. We can see this new path that we're on. We can see the new cycle that is before us. And with Pluto coming into Aquarius, which happened last year, but this energy of it being amplified by the sun and giving this very this really potent, powerful energy, and yes, seeing what that means for you, but it's really highlighting it in just a very, very powerful way. So we are at the end of this 3-day window of this Cazimi energy, which is very strong. And so yes, we can say that we are in new energies, we are in new cycles. And then the feeling of releasing that part of ourself and the mourning that actually comes with that, the realization that you truly are no longer that version of yourself. You truly have moved on, and there can be sadness that comes up with that, in the sense that that person really is no longer there. That version of you really is no longer there. And it's very different to when we go through severe trauma. There is this missing of the version that you were before the trauma happened, and wanting to go back to that version of yourself. But realizing that you truly are no longer that version of yourself, and you really are in the new energy, there is almost that mourning that comes up, where you realize that it really is goodbye. And that is what is coming up during this Pluto Cazimi energy. You may be feeling it just kind of there intuitively, or it may be coming up very pronounced and very strong. So yes, walking the new path, walking into this new vibration of light, because we are evolving. As humans, we are evolving. We are understanding more and more what we are as humans. Pam Gregory, she talks a lot about the Homo luminous. It is the next stage of us as humans. We are stepping into more of our light bodies. So whatever that means for you, but seeing how the power comes from the darkness, and that is what Pluto represents for all of us, individually, collectively. That power in the darkness, and that very real sense of the new version of you being born in the darkness. So these are some of the themes that come up during this time. And one of the there were several messages that came through. The first one being reiterating the message of you are the center of your universe. We are, if we look at what is happening in the United States, with Pluto basically returning back to its point of where it was when the United States was formed. So the Pluto return that has been happening, and it is very much a new cycle for the US. And it's also how you look at it, because there are those that are looking at it through their own individual lens of this is what they have asked for. And there are those that are really looking at it as this is the wrong timeline for them to be on. But it very much is a whole new cycle, because when the planet returns back to the point of where it was upon the birth or the creation of something, it is a brand new cycle that's beginning. So everything is how you navigate it. Nothing is set in stone, and it's very much the observing of the desired timeline, remembering that regardless of how you may feel, regardless of how hopeless things may appear on the surface, you still have the power as the observer to observe the timeline that you wish to be interacting with. So you can activate that whenever. Take this as your invitation to remember that, to come into the remembrance that as the observer, you still hold that power. So, saying goodbye to the past version of you and allowing yourself to be in the mourning process, because everything that is felt deeply is integrated fully. So, whatever you are feeling, allowing yourself to feel it fully so that it is actually integrated. Because again, we aren't, this is how fragments happen. When we talk about trauma, when we talk about anything that has been created as a shadow aspect of self, it is through that aspect not being felt to the extent in which it needs to be felt. So Pluto in Cazimi energy is really powerful for that. And there is a way to almost retroactively connect to these energies, because yes, there are these windows, but everything is happening at once. So you can still connect back to this energy intuitively and discover how you want to work with it. So that is what is being highlighted with Pluto in with the Pluto Cazimi happening, and remembering that you are the divine channel, you are the divine bridge between the celestial realms, the earthly realms, and that is the only job you have here on earth. It is to create as this divine bridge that you are, and to enjoy how far you can go with creating, because ultimately creating is the only thing that truly matters. The creative process, that is the essence of source consciousness, which is the essence of what you are. So being in your creator self, your divine creator self. And that is how you alchemize any situation. It doesn't matter what is before you, it doesn't matter the illusion of the restriction that you have before you. It is always, how are you creating, even with the restriction? How are you creating? The ultimate form of alchemy is taking what you have and turning it into something else. So, all remembering that you are the divine creator no matter what. That is where your true vibration of abundance lies. Erin Lyons also channeled this in her one of the readings that she's done on her channel, which go and watch it because it will highlight in more depth what is meant by the divine creator aspect. And what was channeled through her was, your true abundance lies in your capacity to shift. That is the true form of abundance, because everything is always shifting. Energy is always shifting and moving. And that is what is meant by a heightened state of abundance, because it is not contingent upon the physical realm. That is where many people get lost and form an attachment to things in the physical realm, including themselves, including the identity of who they have been. And ultimately, everything is always shifting and expanding. So this is very much the true aspect of abundance. So this is what will help you to navigate whatever is happening in the external collective timelines, anchoring back into this knowing that your abundance lies as the divine creator, which is us through you. We are the divine creator operating through you. So this should be an activation of the divine creator frequency that many of you are wanting to step into more, and may feel as though you need permission for this activation to occur. So this is your permission to step into your divine creator self. So these windows, yes, we can see them as these energetic windows that allow for the activations to come through. And what has come through for me personally is understanding that, yes, these planetary energies, these external influences, they exist, they're there. But you are still operating as the dominant force in your life, in your reality. So you are doing the work, you are understanding that you are the dominant, you are the operant power in your life, and all you are doing is maximizing on the astrological influences, because that is the difference between seeing astrology as something externally happening to you versus you are the dominant energy, you are the operant force, and you are simply maximizing on whatever is happening astrologically. This should be the new way that you start to work with astrology. Because, of course, as above, so below, as within, so without, everything is one at the end of the day. So that is how you should be operating in your life, in the sense that you are choosing to maximize on whatever energy is occurring externally in the cosmos. So you can start to look at astrology in this way, and that is how you actually be a co-creator in reality. And that is how you start to intuitively understand how to manifest with these different energies, because astrology is not a it's not a fixed thing. Even the meanings we have of the planets and what they're associated with, none of it is fixed. So if you are intuitively connecting to the energy of a planet, you are able to get the messages that you need in terms of how you are going to work with that energy, in terms of how it applies to you. The same as with looking at your birth chart and seeing what is intuitively going on there. Because astrologers also put their own lens on what they are speaking about astrologically. Because again, we are the creators, we are the observers. So, yes, that energy is occurring, but what does it mean for you? So, that is how to have a more empowered experience with life and, yes, with astrology, if that is something that you are wanting to explore and integrate further. So, I'm going to pull some cards to see what messages come through from our spirit guides. And bottom of the deck, we have Clarence, Star. So coming in again to remind us of our divine galactic selves, our divine celestial selves, and to really trust ourselves, to really trust our knowing, to trust our power, which we could say is ultimately what Pluto is showing us or desires to show us. Because there are certain shackles that are created from the versions of self that we have been, which is what I was saying about saying goodbye to the version of yourself and mourning them, even though they were not who you wanted to be, but knowing that they did their best with what they had, and really loving those versions of yourself that you have been, knowing that that version of yourself has supported you. This card came up psychically for me, and it was very much pointing to generational karma. And that is what many people intuitively have been feeling with Pluto moving into Aquarius. It is the new cycle of ancestrally what is needed, especially for us star seeds. As I was saying in my last live, a lot of us aren't really meant. A lot of us don't intuitively feel this need to do something like ancestral veneration, for example, because it's very heavy, it's very dense, and as star seeds, we know that we are simply temporarily in these human vessels, even more so than an earth seed, let's say. And we know that the families we've been born into are simply the dynamics that we desire to enter into in this lifetime, but it's not really ours. So you are very much freeing yourself from the shackles of what has come before you in terms of your ancestors, in terms of your family lineage, and deciding that you're not carrying it anymore and it was never really yours to carry. And seeing very clearly the shackles that have been created from those that have come before you in your family lineage, because every action creates an energetic field and every action comes from an energetic field. So whenever there are patterns that are occurring, there are these crystallized energetic fields, matrices that are created. And you carry that, you are almost burdened by that whenever you are born into families that, let's say, have these very dysfunctional patterns or just have very heavy energy. So shackles are also created from that. And what is coming in is the entities card. So with Pluto being in Aquarius, freeing yourself from the shackles of, yes, who you have been, but also ancestrally, what is no longer resonating, what is holding you down versus what is keeping you shackled down versus being a foundation for you, because it's not it this is where the discernment is coming in. It's about understanding what is a loving and solid and nurturing foundation, and what is something that is really keeping you stuck and, almost in that toxic energy. And understanding that wisdom comes from all of it. And this snake is representing the power that is gained in the darkness, which is what I was saying about Pluto. It is that strength, that power that comes from the darkness, that new version of you that has been born in the darkness. Because darkness is not equated to evil, especially in this aspect. So when we talk about light and dark, it is often equated to evil and good. And that is not only an oversimplification, but it doesn't allow for exploration. And the only way to gain wisdom is to explore. So really trusting ourselves, because that is going to help us be this new version of self to a greater extent. And to really ensure that we are walking in this new chapter that we have really desired, because it's really like coming from the dark into the light, in the sense that you just want to see more. Again, the analogy of Plato's cave, it's not about remaining ignorant and continuing to take the shadows on the wall as real figures, which can happen. So it is very much this emerging from the dark, in the sense of you just want to see more, and just recognizing what has potentially been keeping you stuck and just tied down, especially in terms of guilt. because guilt is a frequency that comes up a lot in family dynamics, and that is a really strong and heavy shackle. And there's a difference between having guilt for, yes, something you've done, and guilt from other people pressuring you, let's say, or again, whatever the pattern is in your family, you may feel that guilt for not continuing that pattern because, in a sense, you are separating yourself from your family, and there can be guilt that comes along with that. So we have the ripple card, and it's basically saying, what are you rippling out? Because like I said, every action creates an energetic field, and every action is also created by an energetic field. So it is that ripple effect. What you are doing, who you are being, what you are deciding that you're going to carry this or you're not. Everything has a ripple effect. And it's not just what ripples out, but it's also what ripples in. As much as you want abundance and all these wonderful things, what is being rippled out from you by the state of being that you are deciding to exist within? Because it is not about, and we have a gold again, it's not about being the victim in any capacity, whether it is your whether it is your personal timeline, or it is the observation of the collective timeline. It is not about being the victim. What was I saying about the dark and the light? Coming out of the dark, stepping into the light, and not equating darkness and light with good versus evil, as has been the outdated model that has been falsely presented within society, which creates this polarization of self. Because good versus evil is the man-made duality. It is the false sense of duality. Yes, duality exists, and this realm is a realm of duality and polarity. However, seeing what is a true aspect of polarity and seeing what is a manufactured aspect of polarity and transcending it, connecting to your golden timeline, regardless of where you are, regardless of what you're seeing on the outside. Connecting to your golden frequency that you carry uniquely, that you always have carried, because you are source consciousness at your core. It's really a reminder, because gold and shadow and light and gold came up in the last reading, in the last live. So it's really this reminder that, are you allowing yourself to be split, descend, very much Pluto energy, the underworld journey, are you willing to, it's not even are you willing to descend, it's like, this is what I'm saying about Pluto Cazimi. This energy is really prime energy for descending. And it is the underworld journey, Persephone going into the underworld. There's nothing wrong with that. This is what people have, when I say people, this is what is pushed on the collective as the descent into the underworld is linked to evil, and it couldn't be further from the truth. If you want to know yourself in greater capacity, you have to descend. You have to go into your subconscious. You have to explore your shadows, because if you don't, you're basically saying that you are scared of yourself. And when you are operating on the frequency of being scared of yourself, everything else has power over you. Do not expect for you to connect to your golden frequency if you cannot even descend. Because where is gold formed? It is formed in the mountains. It is formed in the dark. So to get the gold, it is, Pluto is saying, come to me, descend into me, i.e. yourself. Because the planets are internal states. They are internal realms. Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Venus, these are all energetic frequencies that we have within ourselves. So descending, allowing yourself to descend, seeing the invitation to descend as the opportunity to find the gold. Because it's not, yes, you can call in these frequencies, you can call in these timelines, but again, source wants to explore, and to explore through you. So allowing yourself to descend and finding your power through the descent. And this is where the shedding of approval is going to occur, because it is so insane that we live in a society that the mere thought of people being their true, authentic self causes so much anxiety. It just feels insane. So the further coming into yourself and basically saying, being your authentic self, like actually really being your authentic self. And what does that mean? Only you know what that means. Because again, society has been indoctrined to be told what to do. And so people subconsciously are asking to be told how to be themselves. And it's just absolute madness. So the descent will guide you to your true authentic self. And with Pluto being in Aquarius, it's very different energy. Pluto was in Capricorn since 2008, I believe. Very tough energy. So Pluto in Aquarius is it's this new frequency of descent. It's this new frequency of the underworld journey. Because not everything has to be this really difficult lesson. There is the possibility to learn the lesson through joy. The descent doesn't have to be painful, doesn't have to be scary. Again, it's more of this exploratory energy. Which is why integration, which is why feeling everything to allow it to integrate is vital. That's how you descend with power. So Pluto in Aquarius is like, because Aquarius is new terrain. And it's also connected with the galactic realms. So very much the starseed energy, exploring the darkness, exploring the new parts of yourself, awakening the new parts of yourself that you don't even know exist. Being fearless. Yes. Yes. I love this energy. I like it. This is exactly what Pluto, if you want to know what Pluto in Aquarius means, it is this. It is this descent energy of Pluto, and it is this fearless energy of Aquarius in the sense of there is nothing to fear. It's not about not being scared of anything. It's about there is nothing to be scared of. Because again, what society has been fed at large is this false sense of the unknown, the false sense of the darkness being something bad. And there is nothing to fear. The only thing to fear is fear itself, right? Like fear is the mind killer. So this fearless energy is, and as I've said in other readings, is it's the illusion of the jump. This is just an illusion. Because we can always fly. We're not falling. Even when we jump, we're not falling. That's the trick, right? Neo in the Matrix. It's the illusion that he falls. But in reality, he can fly. He leaps to the other building. So when you have the courage to descend, this is what happens. And that is what Pluto is saying. That is what Pluto in Cazimi energy is saying. And what it actually is the activation is coming through this Pluto in Cazimi energy. This is what is being unlocked. So whenever you watch this, this is the frequency that you are going to connect to. This is the message that is coming through, is descending into your power, into this fearless energy, which is your actual natural state. You were born fearless. You didn't fear anything when you were born. So you're actually coming back to who you naturally are, who you authentically are, right? When we talk about authenticity, what is it actually? It is about coming back into the natural state of you. It's basically the stripping away of anything that is not you. Stepping into authenticity is less about becoming this new version of yourself, and it's just about becoming. It's just about allowing yourself to be the true version of yourself. Because what people are realizing is the authenticity, this whole talk about authenticity, it is about the unlearning of everything that is not true to you. You're not doing something to become more authentic. You are taking away whatever is not allowing you to be in the state of authenticity. But I love this fearless energy because that's you at your core. That's your permission slip. Like anyone who's needing a permission slip, it came up. And also the fearless card is pointing to the fact that we are eternal. At the end of the day, we are eternal beings. There's nothing that can happen that will take away the fact that we are eternal. So we have darkness, again, Pluto coming up. But we have bloom and wisdom in reverse now. So where are you not allowing yourself to bloom? And where are you not trusting yourself? Where are you not trusting your innate wisdom? Because it's interesting that wisdom came up before upright and now it's reversed. And this is the first time I've had cards reverse. So it's basically saying that it could be that, okay, with this new cycle that you are in, where you are seeing more clearly, being your authentic self, you may not trust it, or you may just not allow yourself to unfold into that. So it is really about honoring your wisdom, trusting yourself. That's one of the core ways that we trust ourselves is, or that's one of the core ways that we honor our wisdom is to trust ourselves. Because innately you know what is best for you, and that allows you to bloom. It is the energy of transformation, right? The butterfly, the caterpillar becoming the butterfly, the transformation coming out of the cocoon, being authentic. The butterfly is very much one of the symbols that I see come up for the frequency of authenticity, because the butterfly it comes into being because of the imaginal cells, and the imaginal cells are what see the potentiality of the caterpillar. They are responsible for the caterpillar becoming the butterfly. In the face of the chaos and whatever is going on, the imaginal cells are what basically transform the caterpillar. So that is a clear symbol for the authenticity that people are stepping into, as is the phoenix, because we're stepping into the cross of the sleeping phoenix in 2027, which is basically, it's the cementing of the age of authenticity. And the age of the authenticity, yes, it's being spoken about a lot, but it's not a trend, in the sense that on social media you see a lot of words kind of pushed around and they're almost like a trend. This is not a trend. This is the new age that we're stepping into, because people realize that they can only really resonate with what's authentic. So it makes a lot of sense, because 2027 is the beginning of the 400-year cycle, the global cycle that is all about authenticity. So Charles Water is coming in and trusting in the flow, going with the flow, allowing yourself to go with the flow, trusting your emotions, trusting the way you want to flow, the way you want to shift, the way you want to, the way water explores like different pathways, and that's the energy that's coming up. Could be connected to Aquarius. Traditionally, Aquarius is an air sign, but the water bearer, water kind of carrying this information, this knowledge, this wisdom. You being the water bearer in this new age. And the cards I'm seeing in the other deck, which I will pull from, are Growth, the Spiral card, and Transformation, Butterfly. So allowing yourself to just grow in the spiral, respecting your trajectory of growth, and understanding that everything does happen in the time that it's meant to happen. So that spiral shape. Everything happens as it's meant to happen. Divine timing, respecting the timing of how you are unfolding, and also understanding that time really is this illusion. And of course, also timelines, new timelines coming in. But it's very much kind of saying like bending time, bending reality, which that's more like in the quantum sense, but the quantum model of reality allows us to interact with the true nature of reality in a more accurate way. So there's also going to be more of a step towards people connecting more with things on the quantum level, kind of having like their quantum awakening and realizing that they are more quantum in nature than Newtonian. So it's very much coming into the quantum nature of reality. Well, the two cards we have are Hunger and Love. Take that intuitively. I would say with the love card, connecting to the frequency of pure love, not just romantic love, because that's what we, and also understanding that there are greater levels of love beyond just what we experience as humans. Meaning there's the love that you have for someone, even if it's platonic, or the romantic love you have for another. There are greater levels of love, and all of it can be experienced and explored, especially if you allow yourself to go into very deep states of meditation where you actually are able to really transcend your senses. You are able to connect to the greater frequencies of love. And when you start to experience those frequencies of love, it's very, very powerful. Because again, it all comes back to source consciousness. The unconditional love that a lot of people are seeking. It is only going to be felt through transcending the limitation of yourself, because when you are operating within the limited version of self, you can only experience what is within those limits. So if you want to experience more, you have to kind of expand. What did I say? This was the card that I was seeing when Charles of Water came up. Respecting the growth, right? Understanding that you are growing. You are the... If you want to understand time, this is more of an accurate representation of time. So, yeah, it's the spiral. That's the whole point of life. It's not the line, it's the spiral. And it's the spiral can be seen in two ways. You can trace it not inward, but you can trace it either way to the origin point of things. Nassim Haramein, he does a lot of work with like quantum, spiral, energetic work. But yes. Okay, so we have release 42, lucky 47, jealousy 23, and talisman 31. So you need to do some cord release work, cord release rituals. The lucky card is basically saying that it's reminding you that luck is just a frequency, and there's always luck that can come through for you. So if you are wanting to experience more luck, if you are wanting to experience just things going in your favor, it is just a frequency away. It's a frequency for you to tap into and activate within yourself. Jealousy can be seen both ways, in the sense of using what is triggering you in the outside world to alchemize that and to actually thank that energy and say thank you, because you are clearly showing me what I am deeply desiring. That's how you work with energy. That's how you work with more of the human emotions. Because jealousy is very limited energy. Um, and if it is in relation to perceiving others as being jealous of you, then simply understanding that you hold the dominant force. No one can do something to you without your permission. No one can perform black magic on you without your permission. But if you are in that frequency of being fearful of others, you essentially give them the power. That's what's coming in with this key. What remembering you are the one that holds the key. Other people don't hold the key. They don't hold the key for your luck. They don't hold the key for your success. You are the one that holds the key. You always will, and you always have. And the key is you opening the door into new realities, new realms, because you are a quantum being at your core, releasing the illusion that you are not a quantum being. If you want to do an ultimate cord removal ritual, remove the cord that tells you you are not a quantum being. That's what is coming through. Remove the cord that is telling you you're not a quantum being. The minute you step into your actual knowing of being a quantum being, the game is over. So I'm gonna pull some last cards before I close out this reading. Message 33. A letter, text, email, vision, dream, conversation, music, or some other form of a message is coming regarding your current situation. Be open to receiving it. Meditate on this symbol to draw a message from your ancestors and guide you at this time. Moths are symbolically known for delivering messages, and depending on how big or small, can tell you the impact of the message. I'm just connecting this to the lunar moth. So also 33 being master number. I would say only trusting divine messages. If it doesn't feel divine, don't give your energy to it. This is what is meant by the new timeline. How do you want to be operating? Do you want to be operating in the old energies where you're allowing yourself to be shackled, or do you want to be operating in the divine energies? Spiritual discernment, right? Like remembering the whole spiritual discernment, that what are you interacting with? Is it a higher frequency or is it a lower frequency? Higher doesn't necessarily mean it's not good versus bad, it's just preference. And as a quantum being, it's your choice. What do you want to interact with? Do you want to interact with the higher frequencies? Do you want to be a being of a higher frequency in the state of in the sense of, do you want to exist in the higher frequencies? Activating the higher frequencies, allowing for the messages from the higher frequencies to come through. Sometimes it takes courage, but I link this more to the spark card. It just takes a spark. It just takes a flash. Time. I knew it. I knew time would come up again. Yes. Divine timing, divine timeline. What are you interacting with? That is what is molding and shaping your timeline. It's about what you're choosing on the frequency. So if you say you are only interacting with what is divine, you are on the divine timeline. I'm going to see if the transformation card comes through, because when I saw growth, I also saw transformation. And since we had that bloom card, I want to see if the transformation card comes through. Okay, new moon 45. The darkness, right? Like creating in the darkness. The portal. It's giving like portal energy. Creating your new timeline in the portal. It's also reiterating the power, the darkness within the power. For some reason, I'm hearing Black Moon Lilith, so maybe looking at where the sign of Lilith in your chart. Because Lilith is also about the shadows. I mean, it also depends what story you're connecting to with Lilith, but because there's different versions. But it's very much the power that you get in the shadows. So you might want to just see what is resonating within the sign of where Black Moon Lilith is falling. Magic, number 3. Could influence what you're doing magically. If you are doing anything with ceremonial magic, with spell work, or just connecting intuitively to magical practices, because at the end of the day, it's all energy, right? Magic is just the quantum having fun. Fire, maybe doing some fire magic, cleansing, burning away, releasing. You might want to do some release rituals. Because what's coming through is, for example, when we do release rituals, when we do magic, it those acts, us basically committing to doing those rituals and saying we're going to do it, even if it's something physical, those acts create a ripple effect. And you can pick up on what you have done in a ritual later in a meditation. So all of it's connected. So you might want to, on the new moon, you might want to do some fire magic. I think we have the new moon coming up in Aquarius. So that might be your time to do fire magic. Again, take it intuitively. Obviously, Aquarius is not, nothing to do with fire. But Pluto, it rules Scorpio, and Scorpio, even though it's a water sign, it's that very kind of fiery water almost. Like, it's that really intense, deep energy. So maybe, this Pluto Cazimi could be saying, like, for you to really, because the release card came up, and then fire and magic. So it's like this burning away. So you might benefit from doing a release ritual that incorporates fire, to solidify the decision you've made to say goodbye to the old version of you. It's not that ritual is you saying goodbye to the old version of you. The ritual is just the physical confirmation of you deciding that you are saying goodbye to the old versions of you that are limiting you, that are whatever. And that way the new version of you can be born in this new moon portal, this womb-like energy, but connecting it to the frequency of love. It should be done with love. Loving yourself unconditionally. Loving all the versions of you that you've been. Because that's what it's really all about. Like, yes, you change. Yes, you manifest all that you want. But loving yourself now and loving who you have been up until this point. And really having that deep love for yourself as you would have for another. And you can only experience it. And it's funny, it's actually like seeing this card, it's like you have the old hand and the young hand. So it's like this older version of you loving the younger version of you, because all is one. And being in the middle. This is you at all times. You're always in the middle. This goes for incarnation, different lifetimes. It's not just this lifetime, right? It's like all lifetimes. Loving yourself no matter who you've been. So yeah, it's a new life. There's a new life coming in. It makes sense because, especially after the fire card, it makes sense that this card would come up. There was another reading I did, I think it was a Venus in Pisces natal reading, where we had new life, we had the fire, we had Monty fire, and then we had Sonalin. But it was also like death, transformation, new life. So it makes sense that fire comes up, because as you burn away what is no longer in resonance, you are becoming the new version of yourself. And the new life is very much like everything you want, but it's the frequency is what's dominant. You are, this new life is you being this new version of yourself based on your frequency. It's not just about what's in the physical affluence. What is coming into you? What is the affluence? Because affluence is the state of things flowing to you. That's what I was saying with the ripple card. It's like, okay, what is rippling out and what is rippling in? Your state of being is what attracts the affluence. Your affluence is not defined by what you have in the physical realm. So this new life that you're stepping into, this new version of yourself, you are fully tapped in energetically, vibrationally. Your frequency is what maintains everything in your field. That's your true wealth. That's your true abundance. Shift, right? The abundance is in your capacity to shift. So I was going to say, I'm going to look at the bottom of the deck before I close out the reading. And here we have the transformation card. So I think I'm going to end it on here. I'm just going to see if anything else wants to come through from this deck before I close out the reading. There is one last note to end this reading on. Okay, so to end this reading, we have freedom. Yes, I love this card. And this card is, it's talking about wild freedom. It is not the freedom, it's not the illusion of freedom that we are fed in society. It is the freedom of your soul. It is this wild, delicious freedom. So this is what we're stepping into more. This is what we're always stepping into, but this is what we're really stepping into more. This is what Pluto in Cazimi is all about. It's about the freedom from releasing yourself from these shackles. The shackles are nothing more than illusions. No one can shackle you. So it is this freedom that you are stepping into where your soul is just being what it was meant to be in this life. Bottom of the deck is power. So these two are power and transformation. So it's the power coming from the transformation. It is the powerful transformation. You should feel powerful in your life. That is what Pluto is saying to honor. It is saying to honor your power. That is your divine right. If there is anything in you that contracts at the thought of power, you want to connect. You want to descend into that contraction and you want to find out why. Because with power comes freedom, in the sense that when you are rooted in your own power, you are free. So this was the intuitive session for this Pluto Cazimi energy, which is just so strong. It's so divine. It's so powerful. And what I'm feeling right now is just energy coming in through right here. So it's always about trusting yourself. It's always about trusting what these astrological aspects, these energetic aspects mean for you, because that is how you stay in your power. So I'm sending you love, and yes, just the reminder of being in your power and how good that feels to be in your power. So thank you for watching. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.